do something jiu-jitsu-y, and we capture our partner in a triangle, right? And they hide their arm, which is wise, right? And so they're essentially giving you the omoplata. They're saying, I would not like to be triangled, so I'm going to give you an omoplata. Why is that? Because they're disrespecting omoplatas. So if I don't feel, especially if this person is like not only doing this, like it's one thing if the person is down here like this and you can still pull the head, right? That's going to increase your chances, I think, of digging this out or just keeping this position. But if the person postures up and they have a good posture and you're like this, right? Now, yeah, he's just going to like undo the triangle in a sense. He hasn't undone it. Like, well, look, I just have toes now. So if you're down in this position and you would like to keep here, right? Holding the neck is one way, but I found even here, guys that really don't want to be here, they will posture up or they'll go into me, right? So they'll try, yes, they'll go like this, and then, yeah, they'll hide that arm, okay? You can also do this if the arm is under your arm. So sometimes if they do this, you can still do omoplatas from here, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn our hips, right? So depends on what he does, right? If he's here and this arm is underneath, one key that I like to do is I like to hold, again, to get to that shotgun kind of grip here, because I don't want him to pull it out, right? When I'm turning, when I'm doing this, yeah, I don't want to like let him just pull his arm out. So just take one hand like this, and then I take my other hand and I'll frame on his head. So really, I like to really throw their heads as much as possible. If I have to, I'll like drop this leg, right? So I'll drop in, push. If you want, you can step on their neck, come across, here, push. I just don't want him coming back into me, right? So here, so I'm holding, framing, and then I'll put my shin sometimes this way if I can, and now I can start pushing and stepping on his arm, and then that makes that super easy to throw my leg across his face. We're in that triangle, right? I'll hold, push, step, and then I try to get this shin in right here. So now I have this hand is free, and this hand is just my shin is now the frame, right? And now I can straighten my body, and I'll start pulling onto the elbow, stepping over, right? Here, don't let that come over, right? Sit up, and now hold here, okay? So that's the position, right? This is the classic. Now finishing this is the whole other, the hard part, okay? Now, there's some things you can do in here before we even get into omoplata, right? If he's not protecting his arm here, right, I like to fish underneath it, sorry. So I'll hold here, and then with my left hand, I'll fish into this little space right here, and I'll come right into this position. Right, so I'm holding his elbow now. Now from here, we can start rotating it, right, like a little bit rocking a baby, right? So I'm here, I'm not in the omoplata yet, but because I've held this, right, and he wants to get, I swim my hand underneath, right here, right? And now, I'm gonna raise my elbow. Boom, so I hold, right? And now see, because, I don't know if you guys can see this, my arm, because I started off like this, with my elbow here, he can't get his arm back, right? He's gonna, if he tries to anchor it, it's hard, right? So we're here, and we swim. So here, right? You can slide it off. Here, you can come here, walk. If you want to, you can go into that more traditional, right? And come in underneath. Yeah, you can see how I catch it? Like I try to catch it at the wrist. So if I try to get in on the elbow, if it doesn't control that wrist, he's gonna be able to bring his body to his, yeah, and then it's now I get to enjoy this knee of doom, which we don't like. I'm gonna turn, pull, I like to pull, feed that.
Yeah, I like how active you are with your legs. Because a lot of a mistake that people make is they let their knees come close to their face.
Yeah, so the idea here is, look, I mean, any time that you're in this position and you don't want to be stacked, you can't stay passive, like limp, right? Even if I'm here and I'm pulling, if my legs are not pushing him away, he's gonna stack me. Some people are very flexible and they don't care. So I don't want, what's the matter, okay?
I was just saying, like, even when this is here.
Yeah, you gotta keep so I like raise my hips, right? I raise my hips. I keep this straight, And so that way he can do other things, but he's not gonna drive my knees to my body, okay? So you have to really kind of like think of this as like an active frame. You can push frame. So think, if you're having trouble getting this out, really the idea is you want to frame first, right? I don't want Kevin, I mean, if you want to go in his face, you can do that too, but you could just like eye gouge him first, right? But I want to make this space here, right? Hold. Yes. So you missed it. And then what I'll do is, a lot of times, I'll just bring him over. So we just bring him over here, step out, underhook. You just have to be ready at that point for the scramble. So I want people to see my feet. Like, so you don't want to get your feet caught underneath the person. So when we're here, right, and I'm able to get here and Kevin decides to roll. So look at my feet. My feet are going to be pointed, right? You don't want your feet to be like this when someone comes over them. You're going to do that. So my feet are flat. So as I roll up, there's no injury to my feet, okay? So I just wanted to show that, just so you guys, if you're doing this, and the faster, the bigger the person is, you know, if you're not like this, you don't want to be toes active, because it'll hurt your feet. You want to keep your feet pointed. So one of my favorite sayings is never let the perfect be the enemy of the good. And if you're going to keep trying to finish on these things, right, and this is true for every submission or sweep, if you keep going to the point of past the point of failure, you're going to fail, right? So if I sit here and I get all of this, I don't want to kick you in the face, here, right, and then Kevin goes and he starts stacking me, right? If I insist in this position, not stacking, but just defending really well, and I can't get this out anymore, and I don't feel like I can really get an omoplata in this position anymore, well then eventually I'm not going to be able to get it. So switch to the sweep. Here. And then I like to keep, if I can, ideally, I like to keep his elbow, sorry, I'll take some pressure, to keep his elbow trapped between my knees, okay? And so this is gonna, at least at the very minimum, slow him down, because if he can't get his elbow to the floor, he's not gonna be able to turn, certainly not gonna be able to go that way. He's only gonna come to me. So as they come across, so they have a couple different options in here. The first is they can just straight up defend this arm, right? The other one is they can say, I don't care about defending, I'm just gonna come on top, right? You're gonna have to get this elbow on the floor.
Yeah, that's not happening right now.
Right? When I'm here, look at my hands. It's gonna, my knees rather. You're gonna keep this position here. Now, let's turn this way a little bit. You'll see his body weight is actually pushing down on my leg, so it's keeping his arm stuck in my legs. So I'm not really squeezing very hard. If Kevin tries to pull his leg out or his arm out, go ahead, pull your arm out. It's really hard. Yeah, he'll have to go backwards, but he still won't be able to get it out. So as we come over, get up on your knees, you'll see his elbow is stuck. And so my leg, let's go this way a little bit. On the other side, my inside leg is like underneath his shoulder, and this is pinching. Okay, so let's just talk about a little bit about this situation here when you get on top, if he doesn't go anywhere. So the first thing is, if this arm is just hanging out into the wind, right, you have all sorts of like little, I like to hold here and push. You know, this is probably not going to happen against somebody who's more experienced. You have wrist locks, they're gonna, but this is more often than not, they're gonna either, at the very minimum, they're gonna hold their own arm, okay? And so you gotta lean forward here, right? I don't wanna be back here, because if he bridges on me, it's not, yeah. No, you feel pretty good? I feel like sometimes people take me back. Yes, but you're still not the end of the world, because you still have the omoplata, right? So even if we're here, and as I'm adjusting, Kevin goes, right, and takes me all the way across, we're still in a good position-ish, right? I don't have the omoplata anymore, because he brought his arm across, but this is still okay. Oh, sorry, I'll let you get that arm out. Because you can still come on top, right? And now at least we're on top. For me, if I want to make sure I keep this position, right, I can't allow Kevin to drive into me. If he rolls, that's fine. You know, at the very least, I'm going to get back up, right? I'm gonna probably get a sweep. Hey, what's up? Yeah, get that out of there. So even if if we're here, and as long as Kevin doesn't, stack me, I'm still pretty good shape, right? So I'm gonna stay heavy. I'm here with this, right? So Kevin wants to bring me back. So if he sits up straight and circles back into me, well now, yeah, I'm in bad shape there. So we don't want to let that happen, right? So I'm here, right? I'm going to try to keep my legs not necessarily straight, but I'm driving this down. So my left leg is doing a lot of work right here. Okay, so Kevin wants to sit up, right? I can't allow that to happen, right? And I certainly can't allow him to put my knees to my shoulders, okay? If he sits up straight, like he goes all the way back, that's not the end of the world, okay? Because I'm not getting stacked here.
Oh, I got your feet.
So that's the other one that I wanted to show, which is when they get stacked up, when they go straight up, you're gonna do a back roll. And I get the leg over, and then Kevin is able to sit up, right? Now, from here, you can't sit here, right? Even if I'm here, I can't just let him do this. It's not something that you would do slowly, okay? So go back for a sec. I take him this way. As he stands up, then I'm gonna do a little back roll. And we wind up in the same position. Okay, again, if you notice, I'm holding this, right? Because why? If I don't hold it, look, he's already 3 inches extra to the ground. Yes. Right? But if I wind up here and I'm holding this, it's just an extra little thing that Kevin has to do to take this, my hand is like a, I don't know what it's called, like a shelf, just holding on, okay? And you're just preventing him, it's a little extra thing to prevent him from bringing his elbow down. So this is gonna be one of the main ways that you maintain this position, is right there. Yeah, if you can't get this, and then if he lets go, I just go right on the wrist, right? And then you can do like a Kimura, I guess, right? Boom.
I like the straight version.
And you just go straight down?
Yeah. In my head, I call this the Bo Peep.
The what is it? The Bo Peep because of the staff?
The staff.
All right, so but what you really want to do is in the beginning, I found that 75% of the time, I'm making these numbers up, but 75% of the time the person's either going to roll right away or they're going to posture up really hard. And so when as they're posturing up hard, that's when you're going to do that back roll. They're actually going to be carrying you. The thing is with the back roll is that if we do it slow and we wait,
It's weird.
it won't work, right? If I'm here, get this over here. If Kevin goes back, right, and then I go, I'll just give up my back, right? I'll be here, and because I'm not connected to him, the person's coming up that slowly, you could probably keep their head in the back anyway.
Yeah.
So the reason the person's probably coming up slowly under control is because you didn't slam their face, not slam, but you didn't use enough energy to put the person on their face on the mat.
You have to give them something to fight. And then when they fight...
Well, that's the other thing, right? So you can, if you like to do back rolls, you could bounce their head off the mat and then wait for them to come up and then do the back roll too.
Yeah.
But what you can't do is just let that person do what they want to do, get posture, and then think that the back roll is going to work. You're just going to give up the position. And the other thing is too, that I would say, is that there's, again, talking about the point of failure, it's a big mistake. It's an unforced error. If the person postures up and you don't have the momentum to build up, or they're not generating the momentum to build up to let you bring them over, there's nothing to stop you from just going back into your guard or to do something else, to set up something else. I did something good. I got my omoplata, right? And then Kevin comes up, right? And I don't let him. Okay, well, there's nothing to stop me from bringing him back into my guard, right? What I don't want to do is force this, right? I'm here, Kevin stands up, and I do this stuff, right? Now, maybe you can get in on the leg here, which probably would be the right thing to do, but if nothing else. But if I get elevated, and we can show that one too. So if Kevin comes up and I force this, right, and I don't really have any connection, this is not a good situation for me. Yeah, I'm gonna wind up even up my back. So sometimes you'll see this where you lock your legs, right? Now, I don't think this is actually the best thing to do. The only time I think that this is really good thing to do is if the other person's stepping up on their left leg, on their far leg, right? If they do that, you can hook into their leg. And this is really, really strong and powerful. But if they don't step up, which they should not be doing, all right? So if they're here, right? And now I can't actually get over there right now. My leg is not gonna go over there. So when my foot is dangling here, that's what my partner's gonna do. And now they're gonna start pushing, because look, they only have a couple things they can do offensively. And one of them is like push your foot in directions it doesn't like to go. So this is one of Kevin's favorites. And then, yeah. And so that one is not a good, you know, like leaving your leg like floating in front of your partner's face is not a good thing. Now, if you can attach it, you'll see, like, let go for a sec. If you can attach it under his arm, right, or on the far leg, this now becomes a better idea. Yeah, this, I could take you backwards, right? But what I found is, if you just lock this in, now what happens is when you make the triangle, it's very hard to like push away. Because now as you push away, he pushes back, and it's not gonna work. So this is all bad. So instead of doing that, keep your shin across his neck, right? So that has the benefit of making a nice frame. So when he just tries to drive into me, right? And then if he pushes on my foot, it's not really, because there's no fulcrum here, right? It's just my knee. So my leg is still fully mobile. Yeah, you don't want to let him do that. But even if he does that, look, because my other leg is not locked, go ahead, do it again. I can straighten my foot, right? Oh, and give me that, right? So don't just lock blindly over, because now you're locking yourself in. Now I can't extend my leg because I'm locked in. Okay.
You'll notice I'm tucking my elbow here under my leg, right? So even if he's really strong, right, and I can't just push with my, if I can't push with my arm, I bring my knee in, and then I pinch in until I hear crack.
I never see that detail because I'm always over here and I can't see what you're doing. That's a good one. So guys, I've learned the hard way, don't lock your legs in. And this will allow you, right, I said before, like if I really need to push away, this is gonna push him away. He's not gonna stack me from here, okay? But don't lock your legs, okay? So we're here, I'm gonna extend and sit up. And now what I wanna do, so look, if he does that, that's fine, right? We take him over. If, however, I can go here, right? So you'll see, I keep my legs flat. I straighten, I sit up, right? And I'll turn my hips because it makes it easier for me to sit up. And then I want to get in here like this, right? So I'm holding, but the idea is not to just hold the hips, right? What I want to do is I want to scoot my hips out. And then you'll see what Kevin's doing. Kevin, don't move, is putting his arm on the floor. He's posting. So what I want to do is I want to go get that arm right here. Up, right? And now I'm going to start scooting laterally this way, here, to break him down, okay? So now, look, if his arm comes back for any reason, you're going to grab it. And now we're going to climb. So here, and now what I like to do is, is now I'll try to go forward, right? And you don't have, like if you can get under his head, like you can get a cross face, I like to put this foot up, like a cheerleader. I've never heard that one before.
Like a cheerleader?
A what?
What did you say?
A cheerleader?
Oh, cheerleader, yeah.
Right? But you can go from here as long as I have something, like a shoulder to hold on to, or an arm, right? Sometimes I'll pull my other arm backwards here, and I start to come up. And his shoulder's off the ground, right? Shoulder's off the ground. It becomes really hard for me to finish this. So what I really want is to get that shoulder on the ground, right? And now I can drive forward and get that.